Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your presence here, and welcome to Akasha and the Sun's ongoing Tree of Life classes. In preparation for Mother Akasha's discourse, she asks us to take into our consciousness the only barrier to the expression of perfection is a belief in two powers. This is the little mind, what in metaphysics is also called the carnal mind. So once again, the statement is, the only barrier to the expression of perfection is a belief in two powers. And this, of course, has been handed down to us centuries of embodiments through the tree of the teaching, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So let's take a deep breath. And let us begin a gentle journey of turning our attention inwards. Withdrawing our attention from the outer world. And let each of us consciously place everything that we have been addressing today, everything that has caught our attention, everything we have attended to this day. Let's place all of those things in the hands of our great God Nature and begin to let go. And relax. Relax. Anchoring our attention into our hearts. Today, a contemplative meditation. An everyday meditation. As we begin to affirm inwardly and quietly, every day I am choosing peace. Every day, greater peace and purity and harmony is expressing through my feeling side of life. Every day, I am expanding. And I am expanding up and out of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Expanding into my natural God consciousness that is the tree of life that knows only perfection. And in this tree of life that I am resurrecting back into, I am the vine. Christ is the tree of life consciousness. And God is the roots upon which my life is grounded. Every day, I am awakening more and more to my true God divinity, life, and its spiritual polarity of light and love. Every day, I am mastering the use of my mind and my feelings. Every day, I honor my outer self that is given to express through my mind, body, and feelings more and more of my true divine nature. Deep breath. Every day, I continue to choose peace. Peace with myself, my history, peace with others, peace with this world, and peace with my Creator. And every day I am becoming more of a peace commanding presence that expresses deep from within my being outwardly. Every day I am evolving up and out of a limited state of consciousness that is known as the duality mind. I am resurrecting up into my true God consciousness, where all the essence and substance of everything I could ever desire or ever require is in full, infinite measure and nature, always seeking to take form. Every day, I am becoming more of the sovereign being I am. And I am becoming more of an outpouring of greater light, of greater love. Every day, I set some time aside to relax and to reflect upon consciousness. The greater consciousness that is the true nature of my being. Every day, in relaxation and reflection, I see my outer self as an instrument in which divine ideas and guidance and the very inner substance and essence of my being can flow into a world of form. Every day, the inner light of my heart flames, the great God flames within, are becoming brighter and brighter and brighter. Every day, my mind is becoming stronger. And there is but one thinking presence within my mind, and it is the I that I am. Every day, my mind is strengthened as an instrument in which mighty ideas may come forth that I act upon. Every day I am feeling more, and the unity between my thoughts and my feelings, my mind and my emotional body is becoming stronger. Every day I am feeling alive. Every day, as I consciously let go of all fear that has ever registered in my being and world, every day, more of that fear is leaving me. And in their place, peace, joy, harmony, purity, faith, trust, determination, courage, strength are increasing in my feeling body. And every day I can feel those qualities becoming stronger and stronger. Deep breath. Every day, as I love to acknowledge that my body, my physical body, and my health no longer are limited by a belief in two powers. My physical health, my body is responding to one presence, one power, one intelligence, a state of perfection that is found in the very essence of my consciousness. Every day, I am becoming healthier. My physical body stronger. Every day, the aging of the physical body is leaving the atomic structure of my physical temple. And every day, my body is reflecting more and more of the perfection I am. Every day, all my relationships are improving with greater respect, love, and harmony. Every day there is a bounty of God's grace that acts in my relationship with life. Every day. The very forces and presence of resurrection is upon my outer self, lifting me and raising me and increasing the vibration of light and love. The very power of God expressing through my outer self. Every day, the bond between my thoughts and my feelings is improving, is strengthening. Every day, the bond between my brain and my heart is strengthening, improving. And most importantly, every day, my relationship with my divine self the I Am presence is becoming stronger and stronger until in the glory, the fulfillment of the resurrection, there is but one presence in all its perfection, expressing through my outer self. Every day, my relationship with angels, with ascended beings, is becoming stronger and stronger. Every day, I am becoming more the light of God that never fails. Every day, I am becoming more the love of God that always fulfills. Every day, I am becoming less of the limited sense of self. And every day, I am becoming more and more I am. And in remembering and realizing that I am is the name of God, I am is God in action. I am is the name of my own individualized God being. And I am is the means that I draw forth into form and manifestation all that I desire in the use and the qualification of those mighty words, I am. I am who I am what I am. I am that I am. Deep breath. And with every breath of my life, with every beat of my heart, I am eternally grateful. And now, precious hearts, as we prepare for Mother Akasha's presence with us, let us enter that time in which she invites us to hold a higher vision for friends, family, and loved ones. She invites you to bring into your mind now the names or images of 4 to 5 people in your life, and just hold them in your mind for a few moments, as together we call forth continuously unfolding, miracle-making moments into the lives of all those people, all those loved ones that we are holding our attention upon. We and students around the world, we are called upon to hold a higher vision for friends, family, and loved ones. A vision of continuously unfolding, miracle-making moments into the lives of all those we hold within. And as we abide in the silence for a moment, We welcome the presence of angels into our gathering. And we call upon those angels to enter into the homes of all those around the earth who consciously turn towards the light. Blessed angels, come. We love and bless the angels. We thank them for their service to life. They come to assist each of us to fulfill our higher purpose, our destiny, and the divine plan that God has for each of us. Come, beloved angels, guardian angels, healing angels, angels of the sacred fire, the cherubim, the great love angels, the seraphim, the great light angels, angels of the music of the higher spheres, and the great central sun's angels of the immortal flames of cosmic Christ love. Descend and be with us, beloved angels. Release an outpouring of your sacred heart flames, your rays of light and love upon us, upon all the students of Mother Akasha's dispensation, that we too, like you, the angels, may go forth in greater service. We thank you. And let us breathe together, precious hearts. Akasha is with you. I thank you for your presence here today. I ask the messenger this afternoon to invite each of you to take in a mighty truth that represents the foundation of your becoming, the foundation of your awakening, the foundation of all the effort that all of you have been awakening, of all the effort that you have been making, forgive me, to awaken, to set yourselves free, and to be a part of this magnificent seventh golden age that is just beginning. May you allow this statement to be lovingly held within your minds, within your hearts. May you invite your own higher discerning intelligence. May you invite the Christ mind to give revelation to you, to give you insight as to the deep meaning of this mighty statement, and to give you plenty of experience that can take this statement as a realization and move it into an actualization in your life. It is a recognition, and this recognition is not possible without spiritual endeavor. This recognition is not possible without spiritual study. This recognition is not, this statement and the actualization, never mind the realization of it, is not possible to even comprehend without having studied metaphysics, without making contact with the tree of life. The only barrier to the expression of perfection is a belief in two powers. I invite each of you, because your years of study and your lifetimes that you have lived and prepared for this embodiment. All of that makes you ripe with your continued studies of having the kind of insight. There's things that I can teach you, things that I can share you, there's things that I can help you to remember. Yet the deep insight and the comprehension that is necessary can only come from your own being. And as I have shared with you before, there's a vast difference between understanding a thing and comprehending a thing. Realizations can invite many understandings. Understandings can invite many realizations. Yet to comprehend, your mind requires something else. To comprehend what your mind can understand, even if it's not your personal experience, to comprehend what your mind can understand requires the most arduous, the most difficult, yet the most meaningful and most fulfilling journey a person can take. And it is the journey of the heart. It is the journey where the broken heart is restored. The spiritual heart is growing once again. And the heart, through your feelings, through the feeling side of life, and then following experience. And when those pearls come together, you have comprehension. And when you have comprehension, you have a level of attainment that you have reached in whatever is that activity that you are comprehending. As we approach the last few classes of this year, and my goodness, what a weekend you just had with some of the Christmas masters known as the First Family. And this wonderful special guest, Mother Teresa. And then the freedom classes that followed. What a weekend you had. And I'd like to use that and this idea that I am presenting, that the only barrier to the expression of perfection is a belief in two powers. To say to each of you that whether part of this spiritual path or others, or whether your awakening began yesterday or 25 years ago, makes no difference because your awakening has been ongoing for at least 3,000 years. When you think of the mass of the people, precious hearts, that think that you are just crazy for being interested in anything of a spiritual nature, and you think of people even in your own life, they love you but they don't want to hear it. And there's no judgment ever, because you knew that one of the first bonds that you must restore is a covenant, a commitment, that you would no longer enter into judgment or criticism or condemnation or blame, that you wouldn't enter into those activities. And so, as long as there are those who don't understand you, at least you are so awakened that you understand why they don't understand you. You understand. And yet, when you think about it, why can't they? Why are people so fixed in hardened belief systems that are handed down lifetime after lifetime? Beliefs that become so hardened in the mind, so hardened in the emotional body. What one thing has the outer world used, or the sinister force, or just humanity? One, that is right. Fear. Fear is that man-made emotion. It is the glue that holds beliefs so hardened in an individual. I imagine that you probably have a loved one, maybe even a parent, that might say to you, well, dear, I wish all the things that you're saying are true, but, at my age, I can't change. Or whatever it is. And you can't awaken in one life. It takes several. And tonight, I wish to honor in a very specific way the tremendous effort. At Conclave, I spoke of a 4-step formula that has been quietly acting in your life. And it's best you not know this formula until you're far along enough the path so that you don't get discouraged. It begins the moment you start to awaken again. It's a 3-step forward, 3 steps back. 3 steps forward again. This time, only 2 steps back. 3 steps forward again. This time, only 1 step back. And then 3 steps forward again. And this time, no turning back. It's a silent force. And it can be most remembered the moment that you, or even you've made contact with someone who's just begun their awakening. And hearing all the wonderful news and all the possibilities of who you truly are as spiritual beings, far beyond your biology. And you hear these things, you read a book or attend a seminar, attend a workshop, and so exciting. And then the book is done, or Monday arrives, it's back to the outer world. 3 steps forward. Now it's time to get real again. But that process of getting real again is actually a process of making unreal. Through the 10 years, the 20 years, whatever it takes, all the things that wound you up tight as a human being, and all that's necessary for you to awaken and discover and study and meet other spiritual like-minded people so that you can begin to unwind the humanity that you inherited, unwind it enough. And in that unwinding, you discover so many things. And one of the greatest things you discover, the thing that sets into motion lessons, initiations, experiences, is that you're a living member of a group of unascended beings called the human race. That you are a member of this race, that some 12 million years, in metaphysical terms, fell from grace. A race of people that fell into a spell, became hypnotized into believing in 2 powers. Believing in good and evil. It was easy to do. It was easy to hypnotize you because every congregation, every religion participated. As the shadow came over the religions of the world, they set aside the truth, the book of life, and adopted the book of knowledge of good and evil, entrenched within lifetimes after lifetimes. And then in your awakening, you discover that there is another tree. It's the tree of life. You start to understand that even in religious books there is a truth statement here and there that you can hold on to. I am the vine. Christ is the tree of life consciousness. And God is the roots upon which I am grounded. You hear certain spiritual truths. You know it's not your truth yet, but you align with that truth because you desire that eventually that will be your truth. It will be your experience. And as we close 20 and 14, my goodness, I will say, sometimes you're a little bit too personal in yourself, too personal with yourself enough, and I will qualify now. Sometimes you are yet a little too personal with yourself, and it keeps you from being objective enough to really how far you have come, the experiences that you have been through, the awakening that you have accomplished. Sometimes you're not objective enough to really know that sometimes 10 million tiny little nanoseconds of change is much better than a change so abrupt, so fast that you could fall off that change. And what has been not only this year, the year before and the year before, all of you have millions of seconds where deep change has been going on within you. And we don't even have to speak of your great God self. We can speak of the self that seems to appear in this world. The self, the outer self that is composed of a mind, emotions, a physical body. Deep, tiny little shifts and changes, millions of them, second-like changes in your mind, in your feelings, and in the molecular nature of your physical body. And when you bring all of those together, they become a force of momentum that when you reach a level, when you reach a plateau, there's no turning back. You know, as I stated at the conclave, this student body, for the most part, it's a general assessment, but for the most part, this student body, and there's 7,000 of you currently, is that about to change quickly in 2015? Forgive me for chuckling, it's what I see coming. So many are ready to awaken, not just to the light of the Father, but to awaken to the love of the Mother. And understand how important the heart is in this journey of illumination and enlightenment. And so this student body of which you are a member of, you are in, as I assess that 3-step forward, you are all completing that 3-step forward, 2 steps back. Forgive me. 3-step forward, 1 step back. You're completing that. So that the next plateau you raise yourself to is that 3 steps forward, never turning back. Today, you have never been as united with your divinity as you are today. Today, your own higher discerning intelligence, your higher consciousness, which we sometimes call the Christ mind, is so close to you. It's looking through your eyes, never to test you, never to put you through lessons, but to see where the places that you shift inside and the experience side of life, are they a friendly environment to raise you up a notch in your resurrection? Through your studies, your efforts, you understand the resurrection process. Today, unlike most Christians, you have a tremendous understanding of what the crucifixion represented, what the resurrection represented, and what the ascension represented. You have this understanding today. Although, albeit it is just a small part of it, you know that a part of the crucifixion was also a big factor in Jesus' life, saying, this is what the people of earth have done to themselves. They have crucified themselves by living less than their true beings. And then comes the teachings. Then comes the missing years of his life. Then he begins to study the same things that you are studying today, because those truths are finally out of the ancient schools of inner wisdom. And he studies just like you. And in that studying, he is becoming more and more of his true self. He is lifting and rising up and out of the carnal mind. What is the carnal mind? It's the mind that has been hypnotized to believe in two powers. He is resurrecting. He is rising up and out of that state of consciousness. You have this awareness now. Today there are even modern phrases such as, stop living in the box. Let your be bigger than life person. That's just a tiny little snapshot of something much bigger. Realizing that the human beings of this planet have done something. Now hold close to this. Human beings on this planet have done something that's impossible to do. Human beings have lived outside of a state of perfection. You were not created to create imperfection. You have done something, and you have even made the atomic nature of your 3D reality be changed in so that it is so much more a hologram than you even realize. And when you hear things that a sun is going to be next year, 2015, is a year of disclosure. Disclosure. That your atomic reality, for all intents and purpose of the word that you have come to understand, it is a matrix. It is a hologram. Why is that so? Because as a group of beings, human beings, you've done something that's impossible to do. You have created a sub-reality. You've created a reality where duality can exist. But that's impossible to do. So now, precious hearts, let us leap out of modern day Ascended Master teachings. Let us just jump out of the ancient schools of inner wisdom, and let's go back. Let's go back 100 years. Let's go back to the metaphysicians in the 19th and 20th century. And what were most of the metaphysicians saying? They were saying, it's an illusion. It's not real. It feels real. You can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, but that's only because you are endowed with the powers of creation. You are creator beings. Don't you realize there is no such thing as duality? And if it's what you're experiencing, you must be dreaming it. And if it's a dream, it must be an illusion. But powerful magi, powerful magician, as a creator being, do you have the power to make your dream so tangible, so elemental, that your third dimensional reality reflects it? Absolutely. This is the power that you have. And you hear it in different ways. Ye are gods. Every attempt to help this civilization has gone awry so many times. Today, you are part of a number of spiritual groups in the world that are breaking the bonds of limitation, duality. You are waking up. Well, what are you waking up from? If you are not a dream, if you are not dreaming, how can you awaken? What are you awakening from? Well, we could get a little bit more specifics. You are awakening from a hardened belief in two powers. It's so real that you see these two powers acting out in the world every day. In 2015, are you ready to be stretched? But stretched in a way to have a physical reality that no one else has. At least to glimpse into it for a moment. I have asked the question in the 20 years that I have been with you. I have asked this question 7 times. It's a preparation question. It's a question that seeks to linger within your being and open you to a new world of possibility. The question, I've asked it in different ways, but the question was, is it possible that there may be some people in the third dimensional reality here on planet Earth? Is it possible that there are some people who are not experiencing the world as you experience? Is it possible that there are people on this earth plane in the third dimensional reality that are living in a paradise of perfection? Is it possible that those people do not even know what terrorism, ISIL, or murder or crime even is? Is that a possibility? And so I've left that question within your consciousness, and I will add something to it, and this time I'll go further and I'll say yes and no. Yes, there are some people on the earth who are living a paradisical reality, and they don't see or experience what is happening out there. Yes, that's true. And no, they're not really in the world, even though they are in the world. And the reason that they're not really in the world is because they vibrate at a frequency of light, of love, of perfection, that the outer world and all its crimes and all its limitations can't act in that world. It can't even be physical in their world. They are such a state of perfection that they are almost ascended beings. So where are these people? You might ask me. Where are these people? Does anyone like to try? They're underground. They are the legendary people that you hear about. People that live in Middle Earth. People that can function at a higher vibration. It's third dimensional reality right to the core. But they don't experience what everyone else is experiencing. All right. Moments are coming that are so precious. In these years, we have sought to approach your spirituality vis-a-vis metaphysics, to approach your spirituality vis-a-vis personal empowerment, spiritual empowerment, to approach your spirituality with the Tree of Life teachings that reveal the existence of greater light, light rays, love rays, to approach your spirituality that includes the ancient knowledge, the lost knowledge, knowledge that was only formally given in the ancient schools of inner wisdom, the most famous being the Himalayan school. So we have even, as Sun has worked with you, even approaching your spirituality via a psychological approach, approaching your spirituality, your growth, by offering you insight to the laws of self, law of attention, law of sight, law of faculties, law of continuity, laws of the universe, laws of manifestation, law of momentum. And so in these years, approaching your spirituality from so many angles for one reason. Let us go back to the statement that I asked the messenger to give you. The only barrier to the expression of perfection is the belief in two powers. So of the thousands of discourses we have given, dictations, weekends, seminars, classes, workshops, conclaves, and all these hundreds of thousands of approaches, what was its purpose? What is its purpose? The collapse in your mind, in your consciousness that has been parenthesized, the collapse, the structural collapse of an ancient belief in two powers. To be able to remove the parentheses, which allows only a small amount of consciousness to function in your mind-brain matrix, and that small amount of consciousness is hypnotized into believing in good and evil. So the resurrection, the rising up and out of a state of mind that believes in two powers. Here I must be careful to make sure I don't say the raising up and out of a state of consciousness, because ideally consciousness is God, life, light, immortal, eternal, all the big words. And so the mind as it is used by the people of earth is just a little parenthesis of what otherwise is eternal, is infinite. Do you understand? So how close are you, precious hearts? How close are you where all your studies, all the applications is bringing you to a momentous moment that in future now you will look back to that moment and realize that was the moment, 3 steps forward, never turning back. It was a moment in which every way we have approached you, everything we've studied, everything brought to your attention, the revelation of how God, the infinite Mother, Father, individualizes as your own true self, commonly known in the New Age as the higher self, more specifically and more honorably known in spirituality as your great God presence, I am. Everything is to allow an orchestration. There have been heights that you have reached, you have climbed. There are moments that you have fallen into. There are evidence of valleys in your growth, in your experience, and encouragement and discouragement. And best you know that whatever were those valleys between the mountain peaks, where there was some fallen state of consciousness, some discouragement, how fast can you? I hope so fast that it's done the moment I say it. How fast can you place higher purpose and value on everything that was difficult? How fast can you do that? So that you can move to the next plateau. Who is calling you? Your life is calling you. Are there beings that live in the next stratospheres of your planet? Higher dimensional realities where angels and beings like Jesus and others live? Absolutely. Are they calling you? Well, absolutely. There's a phrase that they love to use. They don't have to use that phrase anymore. They don't use it. They only used it in reference. We stood in the foothills of your life. You didn't hear us. You didn't see us. We knew you weren't ready. We had to leave and come back another century, another lifetime. That's the history. By your efforts to awaken, you are not only seeing the light in the foothills of your life, you can imagine the angels and the masters standing on those foothills coming down to greet you. So close. But yet, what's on the other side of those foothills? That when you are really ready to face a presence and a power that can move those foothills right out of the way. And then you see this glorious being standing there. And all his glory and all her glory. And you realize, that's me. That's my great God presence. That's my spiritual self. So some thoughts that I'd like to leave you with as I massage this conversation into the new year is we seek to assist every one of you. And we can say it in different ways, and you can relate it in different ways and remember it in different ways. We seek as quickly as possible into 2015 to collapse the matrix. To collapse in your mental and feeling side, the existence, the structure, and the memory of your belief in two powers that was cast upon you when you were born into this world, again and again and again. Can everything come together? Can there be a kaleidoscope of orchestrated moments? Is that the actual path in which you have qualified moments as wonderful and other moments as chaos? Maybe there was a kaleidoscope, an orchestration of divine moments. How useful is that which is useless? Do you think that in 13 million years ago, that before the fall from this heightened state of grace, do you think that you longed to be a limited being with the only possibility of creating duality? Of course not. Three steps forward, two steps back. If there's steps within that platform and they were made up of 10 steps, you're about 7.5 steps. You get to the 10th step, you're 3 steps forward, no turning back. Sometimes messages can be complex and rich, yet sometimes messages to self can be so simple and open a depth, a space within your being of richness and awareness and acceleration and expansion, where in a moment you decree and your reality follows suit. I am free. I am free. May this Christmas include a simple message to yourself. As simple as it gets. Wake now. Wake now. Come on. You can do it. One of the biggest tests that Jesus faced, and please remember this, because you have all come to love the great Master for what he really represented for your future, the resurrecting yourselves back into the glory of your God beings. But one of the biggest tests that Jesus faced was not to betray all his years of study. His betrayal would have been succumbing to the world of appearances. Becoming afraid of those appearances. Because he knew the moment he feared the appearances, he was giving them power. And the belief in two powers was back inside his consciousness. Yet in the last 2 years, I can think of many instances in which each of you have been encouraged. Be careful. Let not your sight betray you. Don't get frightened. Why did the Master say, take no thought for your life? I am come that you may be abundant and that you may have an abundant life. Take no thought for your life. He was saying, don't toil, don't worry. So if I leave you with these thoughts, I feel you have plenty of education and experience of the limited sense of self. The duality that has reigned in your consciousness for way too long. And something that you so desire to be free of. So let's talk and let's move towards your true state of consciousness. The state of consciousness that you set aside to experience only a fragment of consciousness. Consciousness so parenthesized that you, in those beliefs within the parentheses, could not even fathom the real nature of your consciousness. So if I say to you, everything you require for your life, you do not look out into the world. You've been trained. Live from the inside out. Are you ready? You see, this is going to be a big moment in your readiness as to whether you arrive 3 steps forward, never turn back, for you to actualize what you're all awake enough to realize. You will realize the truth when I say it to you. Everything that you require for form and manifestation exists within you. But you got to go deeper. You can't leave it with a very lovely truth. That truth has to be examined more deeply. The kingdom of God is within you. Now, what does that mean? Let's see if we can walk through a little formula, we'll give it a little bit of mechanical process, all right? So the Master said, the kingdom of God is within you. Turn within. I say to you, everything you require to live a bountiful, rich, magnificent life already exists within your consciousness. Take it a step further. How it exists within your consciousness, whether it's money and supply, whether it's gold, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a new home, it doesn't matter. It all exists within your consciousness. So ask me the question, how does it exist within my consciousness? It exists as essence and substance, waiting for an instrument to express through and become form. Let's have an example. Crude, but an example, it'll work. A structural engineer. All right, you have an understanding what a structural engineer is? And let us say this structural engineer has been asked to design a bridge. So the structural engineer is going to begin to think, he's going to begin to imagine. Eventually he or she is going to sit down at their drafting tables and begin to draw. So what's happening? What is happening to the structural engineer? You see, you have a structural engineer. This one's been asked to bring forth what will be a beautiful new bridge. So first of all, you have to have one person who has the idea of a bridge to be built. That idea is passed over to the engineer, the structural engineer. The structural engineer holds the idea. He or she has been commissioned to design a bridge. Sits down and starts drawing. The ideas start flowing. Where are those ideas flowing from? Those ideas are flowing from the essence, the soul essence, the substance of which consciousness is formed. Back up. Those ideas are flowing from the invisible substance. Does consciousness have a substance to it? Is it just blanket state of blah beingness? Substance must have some essence to it. It does. It is the tree of life. It is the Christ, consciousness. Remember, say, I am the vine. Christ is the tree. God is the roots of which I am grounded. So, in this situation, as the vine, you have been commissioned to do something. You sit down and you begin to draw it out. Where are those ideas coming from? It's coming from the essence. It's coming from the Christ mind. Christ is the tree. I am the vine. Christ is the tree. Christ, now, what's in that tree? Essence, substance. So, the the architect begins to draft a beautiful bridge. The design just flows through him. What does this teach you? If the essence and substance of everything you desire and require in the outer world is in your consciousness, what do you need to do? Tap into it, let it flow. But what does that substance and essence require? It requires an individual sovereign being to state clearly, I am going to build a bridge. Or whatever. Remember, the fourth activity of I am is the name of God. I am as God in action. I am is the name of my own great God presence. And I am is the means I bring forth into manifestation. I bring forth into form. In the use of the words I am. So there's all the building blocks of creation. My responsibility, and I accept it well, and that is how quickly in 2015 can we land up into the fourth step? 3 steps forward. That's what we're launching for. 3 steps forward, no stepping back. For this, we must snap the spell, the belief in 2 powers. This is why for years you were asked, as preparation, start saying to the world of disease and lack and limitation, you have no power, your day is done, you are nothing but a belief system manifesting, I don't believe in you. In fact, I am free. The greatest gift I can give myself. It might be scary if I tell other people, but the greatest gift I can give myself, I don't. When it comes to duality, I don't believe, period. I have set aside my God-inherited and gifted state of knowingness. How kinder, how gentler, how lighter to know a thing. How much grander than having to believe a thing. Soon, life will give each of you plenty of experiences. Your higher mental body will be watching you. Is it initiation? Someone comes up to you, casual conversation. Oh, do you believe what so-and-so did? And you say, no, I don't believe. In fact, I don't believe at all. But I do know what so-and-so did, and it's quite funny, isn't it? And then you can finish it off. But it's where every opportunity where somebody says to you, or oh, do you believe in this? And you just simply say, no. And they come back to you, you don't? How can't you? This is wonderful. You should believe in it. No, I don't believe in anything. But I'll look at it to see if, and then I'll know whether it's something for me or not. Life will give you the opportunities. Life will use other people. And your higher mental body, your higher mind will be watching you. It'll be an initiation. And if it shocks the other person, well, that's their business. But the opportunity, look for as many opportunities as you can in your daily life to say, no, I don't believe at all. Let the person be shocked when you say that to them. And then, quick as a flash, follow it. But I do know. I know what I know. I know that person is a good person. I don't need to believe it. I know it. Start doing the transfer out of beliefs into your knowing. Then realize, like the architect who's been commissioned to design a bridge, the architect's got to sit back. What's the lesson for all of you? To more often sit, relax, connect inwards. Acknowledge your divinity. Acknowledge within your consciousness is all the substance and all the essence that you would ever require for any manifestation. But for that essence and substance to begin manifesting as ideas, as money, as supply, as doors opening, being in the right place, new opportunity, you must show up. And do the most wonderful thing that life has given you to do. Use your mind. Make decisions. But not based upon the lack in the outer world. Not based on duality. What's the dream? What's the dream? What's your dream? No one can answer that for you. It can no longer depend on the world. What's the dream? Are you tired of being alone? Would you like to have a relationship next year that's loving in every way? Would you like to increase your revenue 3 times? I only say it that way because you have to make it, well, there's the word, isn't it? Believable to yourself or knowable to yourself. Knowable to yourself. What's the dream? Would you like to have a new house? Would you like to find with ease and grace a way to immigrate to Canada, Melody? If that's, you have to see it done. But you cannot entertain the outer world. You can't say, my dream is to increase my revenue 3-fold. That's the decision I'm making. And then wonder how, the moment you wonder how you're going to make something happen, you're an obstacle to the essence and substance that's there. You got to teach yourselves to relax, connect in. But you have to acknowledge the rich essence and substance of your consciousness, which is the fabric of the experience out of life. And you have an infinite storehouse of essence and substance in your consciousness. If you wish to see yourself as in any way that is perhaps sympathetic to where life desires you to be, see yourself as the channel. See yourself as the instrument. But that instrument, like any ship, it needs direction. And no one can make that decision for you. Only you can make the decisions that are so part of an outer life that is fulfilling. And so this journey of spiritual awakening had to include all the things that you had to face so that turning within could be a pleasant experience. Turning within could be a peaceful experience. That, my goodness, you could actually grow so far in your life that you actually enjoy some time on your own. You don't have to have someone there feeding you, talking to you every single second. You actually enjoy some time out. Just you. You don't need that stimulation. Oh, there's a wonderful time when you come into camaraderie and friendship and relationship. But that's another piece. To be able to be stimulated from deep within. And knowing that relaxing so that you can have that brilliant mind. So you can ask the big question, what is it that I desire? And don't jump to the moon too quickly. Start with improvement. What improvement would I like to see for 2015? After all, everything of which the world of form or experience, it all exists within my consciousness as substance and essence. You're going to have to remind yourself. You're going to have to reflect on this. And it's that essence and substance within my true consciousness that recognizes one presence, one power, one intelligence. I am raised. I am resurrected. Up and out of mortal mind. Mortal mind, carnal mind. Those are two old metaphysical phrases that suggest a mind has been taken hostage. A mind has suddenly been parenthesized. You understand parentheses? A mind has been parenthesized, and what is in that mind, the life force, the little bit of consciousness, has been cast into a belief in two powers. Therefore, that little mind can only create good and bad, rich and poor, and all the variant cousins that belong to it. I remember a son saying to all of you years ago, again, we can approach it a whole different way. Everything I said could be said in this little statement, and it is truth. The universe loves a made-up mind. God acts when your mind is made up. But when you enter into what the altered ego has lost the battle. Your ego is balanced when you don't allow your mind to enter the W's. You make a wonderful decision. This is what I'm going to do. Now comes the W's. Well, that's a nice idea, but where are you going to get the money? How? You see the W start showing up in those words? That's the altered ego. Stop doing that. And no, where's it going to all come from? You have the answer. It's all going to come from consciousness, from God, from the very essence and substance of which my being is formed. Yet consciousness requires someone to guide the ship. That's why God gave you a mind. Don't let anyone make decisions for you. Accept mentoring and counsel when it's required. Accept God's temporary teachers as they're needed. But when it comes to making the day-to-day decisions, but I will leave you with this, then it's break. When is it going to happen? Can you allow a little bit of frustration in yourself? I think you can. I think you can allow a little bit of frustration with yourself by saying to yourself, when's it going to happen? When am I going to stop thinking and planning in accordance with everything that's already out there in my world? When am I going to stop taking all these things into consideration? How am I going to get time off work? Where am I going to get the money from? What's the point of even deciding I'm going to have a new home when I only make $40,000 a year? How am I going to do that? The moment you enter that conversation, you're back in mortal carnal mind. You are now subject to the illusory belief and two powers. Does this conversation interest you? We can keep this conversation going. I know when to rebring it back up to a point where we're clear. We're out of the matrix. We're out of the illusion, out of the dream. You know that you have to make up your mind. You know that no one can do that. Are you going to make up your mind according to how much money you've got in the bank right now? Or what's your dream? What's your dream? What is the most important message for each of you to hear? You should self-determine that. Would it be useful for you if you made yourself remember 10 times a day? The universe loves a made-up mind. If God is too hard a word for you, use the word universe, life. You got to remind yourself of these truths. I welcome the one great presence, one great power. These are symbiotic attributes of your consciousness, and you've got to let them flow. But if you're taking into consideration all these things out here, then it can't flow. And this is not done overnight, but you have been prepared, you have been training, you've been awakening this. And 2015, I see no reason why it cannot be your breakaway year. And I will even say, if in your, I know it's not, but just to be really, for contrast, I know it's not, but even if 2014, of all your years of awakening and knowing you're a spiritual person, even if 2014 was the worst year you've ever lived, 2015 is going to be the best ever. Now, I don't think it is that, but there are some of you that just need a little bit more contrast. I'm amazed at this necessity for contrast. There must be a way that you can approach contrast in a different way, to conceive a different meaning of contrast. But you know that you can have contrasting colors. that actually complement each other, correct? So you can have unity in contrast. But the duality kind of contrast is, well, this has been such a great ride. I think I need to really have a bad week now. And do you think anyone actually thinks that? But is it possible that that's a silent force that may be happening because of the old duality? All right. So, let it be. Here's my truth, and I'm determined to get on the other side of it. The only barrier to me expressing perfection. Now, I don't want you to personalize it. We've had enough personalizing. Don't say it's my belief, and don't own your belief in two powers. The only barrier to my, expressing perfection is the belief in two powers. And I am letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. And then you've got to acknowledge the rich qualities of your consciousness. All right, precious hearts? 2015 is the breakthrough year. But that breakthrough year will never happen unless if a son comes to you and says to you, what does that breakthrough year look like for you? What's changed? Show me. Tell me. No humming, no hawing, no you got to be able to answer him. Well, this, and this is what's occurring in my breakthrough year. But don't just leave it to physical manifestation. Dream your growth, your spiritual growth. And why not dream that by the end of 2015 that your appearance of your physical body is 7 years younger than it is now? Why not dream that you are having at least on every day in 2015, you are glimpsing your higher Christ consciousness expressing through you. You're just amazed. You're amazed at the ideas. You're amazed sometimes you're with friends or relatives and these words of wisdom come out. And that's not the human mind. That's the Christ mind. Put that in your dream every day. I'm having at least minutes of Christ consciousness expressing. Put it in your dream, my ability to be a healer, to be an instrument where God's powers of healing can work through me. That's part of the dream. So don't just stay with physical, be on the internal. Do you understand? And one more thing. I would just love that your dream for 2015 include every time my God presence is prompting me, giving me a prompting through my heart or my feelings. I don't miss those promptings. My intuitions, my sensitivity is so heightened, I know immediately when I'm getting a prompting. Because it's the truth. Your God nature is prompting you every moment. But the noise of the world, the density that's registered in the 3D instrument, without training and without listening and without getting quiet once in a while, you don't open to be able to hear that promptings. And yet you don't hear a prompting, but you do. Because it's happening inside you. God bless you. I thank you, precious hearts. And as I withdraw, I ask that you be perfectly still. The Master Jesus promises he will project his luminous presence. He will continue to do this. Be very still. And I am going to take this up now, and the Son is going to take up the crystal cup at the end of his class. Be very still. The Master Jesus wishes to take my conversation deep within your being And He is going to command your own inner knowing, teach you more of everything that I've spoken into this evening. Be still for one full minute as the Master Jesus projects His luminous presence before you.